Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's been a long time, but Andy and I decided or thought about doing like a little follow-up of how life in the military has been after 4 years of being in and what that meant for us. I have some questions here that we can kind of like bounce around with. This is my dog Waffle, sorry, he needs to be in or else. First thing is like a little reflection about our military life.
You know what? I have thoroughly enjoyed the Navy. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like a lot of people say that they can't stand it and it's always this and it's always that, but like any other job, you know, you're gonna have your annoyances, but yeah, I like it. I have no major complaints. No major complaints.
Same thing for me. I think in that 4 years, of course, there would be obstacles, right?
Yeah.
But like she said, it's like just like any other job, you make the most of it. You put in what you think it's worth it for, you know? And so far, I think the Navy has provided so much for me, and I'm just excited to like do more. I re-enlisted and I was in Zone A, so I'm able to like get some bonus. So both of us re-enlisted and was able to get a little bit of money because we fall under like I guess zones depending on where you're at, just like Zone A, Zone B, Zone C, and you can get certain amount of bonus depending on how long you're gonna re-enlist for. So both of us did re-enlist. The biggest challenges you faced in adapting to military life since our last video?
Ooh.
Because now we're considered in the fleet, right?
Yeah. I think the biggest challenge coming from core school was like the whole fact of roommates. Yeah. I didn't like that, especially being an adult. I did not like that. Living in the barracks and having a roommate and being kind of told or having to ask for permission to do basic adult things was very like a really big adjustment because I wasn't used to that. I'm sure no one really is used to asking other adults, can I do this, or submitting paperwork saying, can I do this, can I live out in town? Big adjustment, and I'm still kind of getting used to that. Still, I'm not gonna lie, like I'm still getting used to that, quite honestly.
So I guess to piggyback on what she's saying, once you get into your like first duty station or where your order is at, depending if you're single or not, or your rank when you get there, or where you're attached with or who you're attached with, because definitely if you're attached with the Marines, you follow Marine regulation, and it's a little harder to leave off base even though you're like an E5. But if you're blue side, which is like Navy side, there's a little bit more legroom into doing things. But for the most part, if you don't know where you're going, you have to be in the barracks, not unless the barracks is like full. They can't accommodate for you, then you can leave off base. I've been stationed in Japan. I know some of the videos I have is about my life in Japan, and I've truly enjoyed living in Japan, and I was there for 3 years. And you've been
San Diego and now Florida.
Yeah. So dental tech, your orders are always 3 years, right?
Or at least to begin with. I think our first contract is 3, and then after that, yeah, it's a little bit less.
Yeah, so I think that's something to keep in mind too. When you do have a C school, for the most part, you will have 3 years orders. And then for others, depending on your rate or the rate that you chooses, some of them run from 3 to 4 years. So make sure you're reading your orders properly, or like the commitment you're getting yourself into. How have you balanced the demands of military life with maintaining your mental health? Because I think that's a big thing for the military, right? I think it's a stigma, really, that like if you have mental health issues, your security clearance is gonna get revoked or stuff like that.
I never even like.
I've had a lot of support in terms of my mental health through the military, through TRICARE, and I've been lucky to like have providers that I've worked with that really guided me in terms of like trying to understand how to better cope with being far from family, and you know, giving me resources that I could use to navigate with the military life. So
thankfully I haven't had any issues where I would have to seek out any help, but I will say the fact that I have good mentors. When they tell you to go get a mentor, go get you a mentor. Get you someone that actually cares about you and where you're going and it's going to push you. Go get you a mentor.
Yeah.
They have been absolutely great for our mental health, my career, all of that. And then just, you know, if you don't have a great family support system, then they can help more. But I had both, and I feel very grateful for that. So,
but not to say that like other, because you know we're only talking about our experiences here, right?
Yeah.
But don't let our experiences or other people's experiences tell you what your experience in the military would be like, right? You try to like, you have to know what you can and cannot do and go from there. Like, really try to seek within yourself what you're capable of, right?
And be very, very selective with the people that you are hanging out with and the people, because you can't control who you work with, but just be very selective with that and how you carry yourself, because I'm sure they'll tell you, you know, it's a big Navy, but it's a small Navy. And you don't want to put yourself out there in a negative light at all.
Yeah. You could always think of it like you grow where you're planted. You know what I mean? So it's like if the environment you're around with is not helping you grow, then definitely try to go somewhere else. And I think that's what's good in the military too, because of your constant move. If you don't like who you're with at this time, you know, in just a couple months, it could be your PCS time. You could be selecting orders.
Yeah.
Yes, change is stressful, but it's also, you know, if you look at it, it's an opportunity.
Talk about that too, like PCSing.
To do more.
Now that I think about it, I think that's the most mental strain that I have had, PCSing and getting that paperwork figured out, because oh my god, it's like you can do your part to make sure everything's done, but once your package has to go and get pushed up to other people, it causes so many problems, and you know, you feel like you're kind of in a wreck, because like what more can you do? It's out of your hands. The moving process really wasn't all that bad. I know sometimes a lot of people say when the Navy movers come, they break your stuff, they lose your stuff. I have not experienced that, thank God. But Jesus, getting that paperwork together to leave, it's like they didn't even want me to go. It almost felt like that. They wouldn't let me leave. It was so taxing. On top of them even losing some of my paperwork, and I had to redo it. Like,
make sure all of your paperwork, be accountable of that too. Have copies, because it's like, or like scan it into your email.
Something.
Because, you know, you have to understand that unfortunately sometimes people in the HR are not people that's supposed to be in the HR. They were ordered to be in HR. So, you know, you have to kind of, if it's something that you want, you truly want, and truly need to take care of, put it in your email.
Yeah. And follow up on it.
Like
bug them. I'm supposed to hear like bug them.
Yep. It's not other people's responsibility but yours.
Yeah. And they don't care. I mean, who cares more about you than you?
Exactly. Own up to your own things. This permanent change of station. Everything has a checklist in the Navy.
Yeah.
Everything that you could possibly think of has a checklist. If it doesn't, they will create a checklist. So you won't really be lost. So if it's PCS time, there's a checklist and what to do. If you're choosing orders, there's a checklist on like when the windows are gonna open. If you want to go to a sea school, create a package, there's a checklist.
But you gotta ask about that type of stuff, because sometimes they don't know or they just won't tell you.
Yeah.
So you have to ask. Don't just assume they're gonna be like, oh yeah, your window's coming up to pick orders, because they may not, and then you'll miss it. I've had a friend that missed a couple windows, no lie.
So again, it goes back to like, if it's important to you, work on it. If it's something you want, regardless of what other people say, find the information about it, and go from there. Have there been moments when you questioned your path in the Navy? Oh, definitely.
Every day. No, not every day, but like when I first started, more frequently than not, I was questioning this decision, because it felt like, you know, my civilian life was pretty decent. And so coming into this new structure that was just kind of felt like it was falling apart, and everybody was trying to tell me what to do, and I like as if I didn't know how to handle myself as an adult, it made me question a lot, like, should I really be here? Should I be doing this? But I think once I really got in the swing of things and, you know, my mentors guided me in the right direction of how to navigate Navy, I stopped questioning it as much, and I knew that this is something that I'm totally capable of. I want to do it. Just found someone that I really like. I clicked with her, and she was, you know, up for guiding me. And I just asked her, like, will you be my mentor? And she was like, okay, yeah.
Okay, so there's an actual, you know, form that you put in as a mentor. But, you know, like she said, sometimes you just find somebody that clicks with you, or like who's doing what you want to do, right? So you click with those people. Like for me, I am going to a program soon. I'm just waiting for orders right now. But I would have not been able to submit for this package if it wasn't for the people that pushed me. So I think it goes back to like, be selective of your people, and, you know, filter the things that you hear, and always just like, you know, choose the one that's gonna be beneficial for you.
I signed a HMDA contract, which is a dental assistant. So I came in as a dental assistant, went to my first command in San Diego, and one of my mentors was a dental hygienist. And so that's how I became interested in dental hygiene, which is also a program in the Navy that you can apply for as a C school. So I just had to submit a package, and now I'm here. I'm in Florida, or North Carolina. You can go there too for the school. As a dental assistant, right, I was working under a dentist. I was literally assisting him with his
equipment
and all of that. Now, and I was doing that as enlisted, so I had a full day schedule of going to work, maybe having duty, and then going home. But now that I'm in this program in Florida, I'm still enlisted, but I'm a full-time college student. So the only thing I do is school and home and school. And for dental hygiene, I'll be my own provider. So I'll have that happy medium of not doing too much as a dentist and not doing, you know, less as a dental assistant. And also, it's that independence. I am literally my own provider. And when I leave here, I'll have my associates in dental hygiene, which will also transfer outside if I do decide to get out of the Navy, which is another thing, you know, maybe they'll tell you this, maybe they won't, but, you know, always have a plan. Like, seriously, take that seriously. Always have a plan, because you never know when you want to get out. And a whole lot of jobs in the Navy, sometimes they don't transfer over to civilian world, and you can't do anything with them. So you don't want to waste your time here, you know, just doing Navy stuff and not getting anything out of it. So that's another reason why I decided to do dental hygiene, so I can have that option to stay in, get out, or I can also moonlight. I can literally work at a civilian practice while also being a part of the Navy, so I can get 2 checks, you know.
And going back again, you know, like to submit a package, there is a checklist for that. Find your people. If the people you're around with is not supportive of you, go somewhere else. Like, find a Facebook page, like reach out to other people. Maybe like one of your previous like boot camp friends, or like A school friends. Know somebody, you know, like network out there.
That's a big one.
Because there are people that's gonna tell you no, but don't take that as your final answer, you know. Like I said, if it's something you want, push for it. Like,
and you may not get it the first time, and that's okay. I didn't get into my program the first time, but
same thing with me. I didn't get it the first time, but I think for me, the process of like creating a package and knowing how to do it helped me a lot, even though I wasn't prepared the first time. The second time I submitted it, I got accepted, and I think it says a lot about like the preparation that we had to go through, right?
So it was much stronger
because your name is out there. Now people know that this is where you want to be.
And she's persistent. Like, that's a good candidate that's persistent. Like, she didn't just give up and just let it be. Like, she's back. She's better.
So don't, like she said, don't waste your time on like, it doesn't if you get out, that doesn't translate to like a civilian job or like something that won't be useful for you, you know, like be smart about it, because she's going to school and Navy's paying for it. I'm gonna go to school and technically Navy is paying for it, but I'm gonna be using my benefit as a military person. So it's like, you know, by the time, if we decide to get out, that's not a student loan we'd have to pay for, you know. So there's definitely benefits. You just have to look for it. You just have to know how to get it, but it's out there, you know. You're not gonna get hand-fed or like spoon-fed.
Not at all.
Now she's in a program as a dental hygienist, which is a position higher than DA, because now there's that independence, autonomy, and she has to go to an actual college to get this degree, right? And it's like, when she finished this, aside from the fact that she's gonna get this certification, she's gonna have an associate's, all paid by the military, all while she is still getting her paycheck as an enlisted, with full benefits of allowance, housing allowance, and your basic allowance. So those type of things, put it into consideration. You know, you don't have to be stuck with being just a corpsman or being just a dental hygienist. There are higher things or better things that you could be doing. If you feel stuck in what you're doing as a corpsman and you feel like you could do more than just doing vitals, then do more.
But you have to ask. You absolutely have to ask. Oh, and also I want to say that sometimes people have this notion that if you sign a DA contract, then you have to stay in dental. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. But again, you have to ask. You have to, you know, prove your point, you know, where you want to go and what you want to do. Because I do know a dental assistant that requested to work in medical, and that's where he's been at for his whole career. Yeah, and he even was able to be an MA along with that. Yeah, so if you do want to come and do dental and then leave, you can leave.
You can convert to a different rate too. If you're not happy being a corpsman, you can definitely convert.
Should we tell them how hard it is?
Yeah.
How hard it is to rank up.
Oh yeah.
Doing this.
But it's doing great right now, because now you don't have to compete as a third class. Now it's like automatic promotion as a third class.
But it's a little stagnant. You can be biased depending on where you're at and the people that you have around you. You know, you got to stand out at your command. You have to be involved with, you know, committees and collaterals, and you have to be involved.
So we both picked up third class a different way, I think. I picked up third class as soon as I got into my first command, because I was top of the class. So I had a recommendation to advance. It's not automatic. You have to go through, submit a package, submit a request it, and then do a little review with the CO.
Sometimes they can say no.
Yeah, and they can say no, because remember, it's only a recommendation. So if you're performing not on par with your colleagues or co-workers, then I don't think they would recommend you. So
and so don't you sometimes have to be on board for a little bit, like so they can at least know that you can do your job to some extent?
I think it's like, it says at 6 months. I was on board for 6 months before we routed my shit. But so in that 6 months, I was kind of like in probation period. But it's good to have, because after that 6 months, within a year, I got my rank. How did you pick up third class?
Off the test.
At how we do our testing, there are points. So would you think like having an eval of EP, having awards?
Oh, it helped tremendously. I've always got the EP, in case y'all was wondering.
Yeah, so when we say EP, it's like an early promote in how evaluation is done in the military. It's like you're categorized as like a promotable, must promote, and then EP is kind of like top here, and it's like a certain point. So don't just think that, oh, I'm doing this corpsman stuff, or like I'm doing my job.
Oh, that's not enough.
That's not enough.
Never be enough. And also like winning sailor reporter or JOB, what is it called, or junior sailor. Yeah, that helps too.
Don't disregard the other activities that could earn you points. Like there's educational points, like extracurricular activities points, volunteer points, right? Those add up to your final multiplier. So when you take the test and you're like missing maybe a point something point, your award point could pull you up, you know, so make sure you keep that in mind. So there's another way to advance to the map thing. I guess you could say I was map, but there's an actual process of being map wherein everything that you've done for the command is put in front of a board, and basically your department is recommending you for an excellent job that you're doing. So they're basically saying, this is my top performer and this is the things that this person has done. He's doing the job of the next rank already, so promote this person now. So there's that too. So don't do the bare minimum and complain about not picking up.
No, seriously.
Join, not to join.
You know, if I